This is the same woman who said, I never even considered my blackness until the British tabloids started to make a thing out of it. Now she's like, I am Nigeria. Fellow women, hear me roar.
They're not there on the behalf of the British government. They're there at the invitation of the Nigerian government. Some people think that this is a bit risky. You know, when you're not there on behalf of say, the British Home Office, you're kind of at the whims of your host.
Wanting to exploit their royal titles, I think it stinks. And I think what King Charles should do, he should just strip them of the titles. Let them go off and be, celebrities. That's fine. But don't do it in the name of our royal family.
Disaster opportunists, which is exactly right. Disaster tourists.
Meghan really is a great tool for representing a modern royal family, but not long after that tour did Meghan sort of do her doe-eyed crying to the camera and say, nobody knows how hard it is. And then off they went to Canada, then America, and have decided really that they miss it and clearly want to continue doing it.
There are government employees that are still waiting for paychecks, back paychecks months ago.
Yeah.
What are the odds that they're going to get paid quickly for this Harry and Meghan visit?
This is a pattern for her. It's not about charity. It's about her image.
She is relentless, she is shameless, and she is exhausting. You are not a successful female entrepreneur.
You've had the Duke and Duchess of Montecito running around like a rival royal family, trashing their family, trashing the monarchy.
Like talking about people who are always on their game, especially when it comes to trying to drum up support and get content for their next Netflix project. The Duke and Duchess of Montecito, Harry and Meghan, have gone on let's say a quasi-royal tour of Nigeria.
Harry and Meghan, they have an issue when it comes to their memory and when it comes to the truth.
You're in America now, and we don't give a shit about you. You're not our fucking prince. You'll never be king. We hate your wife. Stay at home in your $29 million mansion, all right?
Sources confirm that Nigeria's Ministry of Foreign Affairs delivered an official statement that essentially translates to absolutely not. The language used was particularly brutal, stating there was zero national interest in hosting another unofficial Sussex tour. In diplomatic terms, that's about as harsh as it gets without declaring someone persona non grata.
So many of the locals are enraged over the fact that their government is going to be paying for the security of Harry and Meghan.
What makes this rejection even more devastating is the timing. Just months after Harry and Meghan positioned Nigeria as their potential new kingdom, the door has been slammed shut with prejudice. And the reasons behind this snub are more embarrassing than anyone could have predicted.
Nigerians were thinking, well, this is a bit of a waste of public money. This is not like we're courting a state that can help us with resources. This is kind of like a faux royal couple that are there to kind of boost their images.
The controversy traces back to what many Nigerians now call the DNA moment. During their first visit, Meghan stood before cheering crowds and declared she was 43% Nigerian based on a mail-order ancestry test. What she likely thought would be her triumphant connection to African heritage instead became a viral moment of cultural cringe.
Found out that she is almost half Nigerian, and that I think has sort of guided them somewhat in wanting to go there and do their photo calls. I understand as well that Nigeria will be hosting an element of the Invictus Games, set up, of course, by the Duke of Sussex, and he's been over there as well, meeting young Nigerians.
Right, and Thomas Markle said he was surprised to find out Meghan was 43% Nigerian because he's always felt she was 100% Californian.
The mother was born in America, the father was born in America, but Meghan is now telling us that she's 43% Nigerian?
But the DNA controversy was just the tip of the iceberg. Behind the scenes, Nigeria's first Sussex visit was reportedly a logistical nightmare that exposed the couple's tone-deaf expectations. Despite having no official government role, Harry and Meghan allegedly arrived expecting full royal treatment.
She was an actress, she does not anymore. She basically travels around the world smiling and making sort of, happy faces and meeting people.
Nigerian cultural leaders didn't hold back in their criticism. Dr. Adebayo Olukoshi, a prominent historian in Lagos, told local media that the announcement felt like reducing centuries of rich cultural heritage to a percentage on a spit test. Social media exploded with memes and commentary, with many users coining the term ancestral cosplay to describe Meghan's apparent attempt to wear Nigerian identity like a costume. Traditional leaders across multiple states expressed frustration that their deep-rooted cultural identity was being treated as a PR opportunity rather than a sacred connection.
Harry and Meghan, I don't know if this is a royal tour. They're not working royals, are they? But they're not politicians or pop stars. What exactly are they doing touring Nigeria in the first place, Kinsey?
For one reason, to get their faces back on camera and to improve their image. They want people to think well of them, so they decide what they really need? Us. What they need is us.
A senior intelligence officer, speaking anonymously to the nation Nigeria, revealed the shocking details. They wanted motorcades, luxury suites, ceremonial escorts, and full media access. They demanded the royal treatment without having any royal credentials or official standing. The source described it as a self-styled celebrity tour that was deeply out of touch with diplomatic protocol.
They felt like she dressed inappropriately throughout the tour. She changed clothes multiple times a day. And you're right, the objective was to look like she was the Princess of Wales, having her multiple meetings throughout the day, different looks, and that's not their status anymore. A week ago, Meghan Markle was throwing jam at her neighbors.
Even more damaging was their apparent dismissal of Nigeria's actual royal hierarchy. While Harry and Meghan posed for cameras with carefully selected tribal elders, many of Nigeria's legitimate royal families were never contacted or consulted. One aide to a Yoruba royal family called it royal cherry-picking, accusing the couple of only meeting with safe, cooperative figures while ignoring established cultural protocols.
Meghan, you have a very privileged life.
Yeah.
We all get it. You're beautiful. You married a prince, but that's literally all you've done to when it comes to your accomplishments.
Right.
The rejection became even more humiliating when multiple tribal coalitions privately petitioned the federal government to block any future Sussex visits unless conducted through proper diplomatic channels. The message was clear: no more self-styled global royals treating Nigeria as their personal brand opportunity.
Wanting to exploit their royal titles, I think it stinks. And I think what King Charles should do, he should just strip them of the titles. Let them go off and be, celebrities. That's fine. But don't do it in the name of our royal family.
Now, the fallout is spreading far beyond Africa's borders, and it's hitting Harry and Meghan where it hurts most: their media empire. Netflix, their primary content partner, has quietly killed plans for what was supposed to be their flagship Africa documentary.
Wealthy, privileged young couple from California come over because Meghan's done a genealogy and they're making a Netflix documentary.
Industry sources reveal that Netflix executives became increasingly concerned about legal liability surrounding the Nigeria trip. There were fears about diplomatic misrepresentation, questions about proper consent from Nigerian authorities, and worst of all, concerns that Harry and Meghan may have falsely presented themselves as official cultural ambassadors.
Like, she gets this platform, she gets on this stage, and instead of saying, what a beautiful country you have, I'm so blessed to be here, I am courageous, I am brave, like, check yourself before you wreck yourself. Lady, you sound crazy.
A Netflix insider, speaking to Deadline on condition of anonymity, put it bluntly: the backlash was too big to ignore. It wasn't worth the risk. The brand hit would be too significant. The streaming giant didn't just shelve the documentary, they scrapped an entire Diaspora Dreams series that was supposed to center around Meghan's Nigerian heritage claims. When your biggest supporter starts backing away, that's not just a red flag, it's a flashing warning sign that your brand is becoming toxic.
Just went off on these, what did she call them? Queen's husband was dying, and she went on Oprah and suggested one or both of them are raging racists. She couldn't have cared less. She doesn't care about anyone other than herself, and I include Harry in that. She cares about her image. That's why she's there.
The Netflix retreat appears to be part of a larger Hollywood exodus. Industry insiders report that A-list celebrities who once embraced the Sussex brand are now quietly distancing themselves. Even Beyoncé's inner circle, which previously welcomed Meghan to exclusive events, has reportedly gone silent on future collaborations.
Forcing young women to marry their creepy neighbors when they're 12 years old. Wouldn't that make more of an impact? I mean, they're just total virtue signals.
Yeah.
A prominent LA talent agent, speaking anonymously, revealed the new industry sentiment. People are tired of the drama. They bring heat, but it's toxic heat. In an industry built on image, no one wants to touch a brand that's more associated with controversy than creativity.
You don't want to be a royal and you don't want the duty and responsibility that goes with it, then please spare us all the performance art.
The shift is so pronounced that several brand executives now describe Harry and Meghan as uninsurable in industry terms, too risky to pitch, too unpredictable to sponsor, and not worth the potential backlash.
Right, talking about people who are always on their game, especially when it comes to trying to drum up support and get content for their next Netflix project. The Duke and Duchess of Montecito, Harry and Meghan, have gone on let's say a quasi-royal tour of Nigeria.
But this Nigeria rejection represents something bigger than just one failed trip. Cultural scholars are now pointing to a rising resistance movement across Africa against what they're calling celebrity colonialism.
But it's wild how much she is so confident in herself. I mean, basically what she just said was, I am courageous, I am brave.
Yeah, it's all about me, 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 me.
Dr. Funmi Adebayo, a sociologist at the University of Lagos, explained the phenomenon in a recent interview. We're seeing wealthy Western figures parachute into African nations, deliver emotional speeches, pose for headlines, and leave. They extract social capital and create polished content, but they leave behind no real investment or meaningful change.
For the basketball court, I just think that all they do is talk, and very little action.
But this is just the beginning. What we're witnessing isn't just one diplomatic disaster. It's the complete collapse of Harry and Meghan's global strategy. And if you think Nigeria's rejection was brutal, wait until you see what's happening behind closed doors in Hollywood boardrooms and royal palaces across Europe.
Is she kidding? She's as white as I am. And she's over there like leaning in. Now I'm the face of the black woman. Okay.
The next 30 days are going to be absolutely explosive for the Sussex brand. Major announcements are coming that will shock even their biggest supporters. And the domino effect we're seeing today is about to become an avalanche.
You're in America now, and we don't give a shit about you. You're not our fucking prince. You'll never be king. We hate your wife. Stay at home in your $29 million mansion, all right?
Don't miss what happens next. Hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell, because the stories we're about to break will change everything you thought you knew about Harry and Meghan's future. This royal drama is far from over. In fact, the biggest revelations are still coming.
Meghan really is a great tool for representing a modern royal family, but not long after that tour did Meghan sort of do her doe-eyed crying to the camera and say, nobody knows how hard it is. And then off they went to Canada, then America, and have decided really that they miss it and clearly want to continue doing it.
What do you think? Was Nigeria right to reject Harry and Meghan, or did they go too far? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and let's see if you can predict what country will be next to slam the door on the Sussex circus. Trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming next.